Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back. I'd missed you. Today's riddle is, you ready for it? It's going to take a little bit of thinking. There are 10 fish in a tank. Now, 2 drown, 4 swim away, and 3 die. How many fish are left in the tank? Think about it. Today, we're going to read about Cumference and all the king's tens, another math adventure by Cindy Neuschwander and illustrated by Wayne Geehan. Similar to the other book we read about ankles? I can't remember. You ready? The last time we saw the king, he seemed a bit gloomy, said Lady Di of a meter to her husband. Cumference one evening. His birthday is soon. Let's give him a surprise party here at our castle to cheer him up. We can invite people from the entire countryside. That's a fine idea, answered Cumference. We'll plan a huge celebration for him. Lady Di sent out invitations. Servants rushed about the castle, cleaning and cooking. Carpenters built long wooden tables, while seamstresses sewed tents. Guests began arriving in groups. Each day, more and more kept coming. Lady Di showed the guests where to stay. Rooms filled up quickly. That's right, it was Cumference about the round table, the perfect table. The castle is already exploding with guests, and an even bigger group is arriving this afternoon, she told Cumference one morning. King Arthur's party tonight, and we're not ready. We're a royal mess. Cumference nodded. I'll gather everyone in the meadow to get them out of your way. Soon a large crowd stood in a grassy field outside the castle wall. The king will arrive in a few hours, began Cumference. Let's practice a royal march for a greeting. Would everyone step smartly towards the center of the meadow? Pandemonium broke out. Knees marching high knocked into arms swinging wide. The knights of the round table crashed into each other, falling into little metallic heaps. Lady Di appeared in the middle of the confusion. I need to know how many guests will be here for lunch and how many for dinner, she called to her husband over the clatter. Cumference waved his arms. Attention, he bellowed. We need to know how many of you are here. But everyone kept milling around. Counting the crowd seemed like an impossible job. How are they going to do it? Sir Cal stepped forward with a suggestion. Forming small circles of people might work, he said. Each group could count its members and call out how many. Lady Di could then add up the numbers. Let's try it, said Cumference, shepherding guests into groups. 61, 111, 58, 17, 46, cried out voices in the crowd. No good, said Lady Di, stopping them. My head is spinning just trying to keep track of all those numbers. We can march them by one straight line, said Sir Lionel's segment, counting up from one as we pass. So the group formed a queue. They began moving forward, past Lady Di. The line was so long it disappeared over the hill. Too slow, noted Lady Di. The king's birthday will have come and gone long before I finish figuring this out. And I'm getting rather hot standing here, complained Sir Tangent in his armor. Others agreed. Let's set up some tents, said Cumference, so we can get into the shade while everyone thinks of another way we can count. On the edge of the meadow, the castle workers erected a small tent. Immediately, knights and ladies and the villagers rushed inside, and it bulged dangerously. That tent is just too tiny, huffed Sir Tangent as he walked out. It doesn't even hold 10 people. He threw up his hand in impatience. Maybe this party for the king was a bad idea, said Lady Di to Cumference. Tempers are beginning to flare, and I still don't know how many meals to serve. We need a new idea, said Cumference. Then he paused and smiled. Or maybe we can use part of everyone's idea. I think I have a solution. He stepped into the middle of the meadow. What do you think his solution is for counting that many people? Attention! Attention, everyone! Please gather into small groups, as Sir Cal suggested. Spread those groups out into lines, as Sir Lionel segment described. Each line should have 10 people, like the 10 fingers on Sir Tangent's hands. The crowd gathered, grouped themselves. The Circumference directed. Lady Di started to count, but there were still too many rows. If we put 10 rows together, they would equal 100, she said. That would make this counting thing even go more quickly. The hot but patient guests moved into larger formations. I'm counting 9 groups of 100, said Lady Di. There are also 8 rows of 10 and 1 row with only 7. That's 900 plus 80 plus 7. How much is that? Now I know at least how many lunches I need. Did you get 987? Then 25 more people arrived from the small town of Lower Numberton. Welcome, said Lady Di, smiling. Could you get together in rows of 10, and could the 3 of you join that line of 7 to make another row of 10? 2 new groups of 10 joined the other 8 rows of 10 and made a new group of 100. 1 more group of 10 remained, with the lone farmer and his wife standing shyly by. Oh my, now we're up to 1,012 guests, murmured Lady Di. Several more tents, different sizes, were set up to provide shade for everyone. To the left of the tiny tent that fit 9 people or fewer, the castle workers pitched an even bigger tent. It could hold up to 9 rows of 10 or 90. Next to that tent was an even bigger one for as many as 9 groups of 100. An enormous one was set next for crowds of up to 9,000. We'll serve lunch in the largest tent, declared Lady Di. As everyone was finishing the last luncheon bites, a cloud of dust appeared in the distance. More guests were coming. It was a huge group from the king's city, Camelot. Greetings, Cumference, called out the leader of the caravan. We're here for the party. The king and his nobles should arrive shortly. Well then, said Cumference, rubbing his hands together briskly, let's find a place for you all. It took a while, but the Camelot guests were finally organized. They had 8 groups of 1,000, 9 groups of 100, 8 groups of 10, and 7 singles. Lady Di sent a message back to the castle to add 8,987 to the 1,012 guests who were already there for the evening feast. Anybody know how much that would be? Let's see. Might have to figure it out in a minute. We'll need to put another huge tent up for dinner, said Cumference. Yes, agreed Lady Di, and we could really surprise the king if everyone stays hidden until his arrival. So let's count. 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up, 8,987 guests. So it would be 9,987 guests, but we'd have to have 9,997, 9,999. It's a lot. So they assigned each guest to a tent. The meadow became the nightly number neighborhood. There were 9 folks in the first tent. There were 90 in the second tent next door. There were 900 in the third tent and 9,000 in the fourth tent. The fifth tent was empty, except for the long wooden tables and benches. Lady Di passed out silk scarves to each person, saying, the color of this scarf matches the color of your tent flag. The entire group gathered to practice their surprise greeting for the king. They rehearsed only once, and a trumpet blared in the distance. Do-do-do-do! The king is arriving, yelled Cumference. Hurry into your tents and wait for my signal. Cumference likes his circles. When the king arrived, he had a sour look on his face. It's my birthday, he mumbled grumpily, and I've been stuck on the back of a horse for hours. What are all these tents for? I'm in no mood for a jousting tournament. Cumference and Lady Di welcomed the king. Your Majesty, said Lady Di, showing him to the seat of honor, a birthday greeting for you. And Cumference bowed and clapped his hand. That was a signal that the hidden guests were waiting for. They streamed out of their tents, singing and dancing. The king was surprised. His sour look began to turn into a smile. At the end of their performance, everyone lifted and lowered their scarves, one row after another, starting with the largest group of 9,000, then the 900, then the 90, and finally the 9. It looked as if a shimmering ocean wave had crashed at the feet of the king. He stood and applauded. "Well done! Thank you, my friends!" Lady Di clapped her hands. "And now let's all eat." See, the color of their scarves makes it look like a wave, especially over here. After a tasty dinner, the cooks brought out an enormous birthday cake and other delicious sweets. The guests cheered as the king blew out the candles. Then everyone heard the thunder of hoofbeats. "Uh-oh," said Cumference. Another group approaches. Their flags shows them to be from the city of Addingmore. Get it? "How many more tents will we need?" he wondered out loud. "And how many more desserts will that be?" asked Lady Di. "I hope we have enough cake." I don't think the cook was too happy. The concept of place value, or where numbers live, allows us to make any number changing the digits 0 through 9. A place tells its value, or how much it's worth. In a story, 9,999 guests show up for King Arthur's birthday party. The number tells us that there are 9 groups of 1,000, 9 groups of 100, 9 groups of 10, and 9 single guests. The guests fill the tents in a nightly number neighborhood. The next time you see a big party, try imagining that the digits live in the number neighborhood. Each digit's place or tent is 10 times bigger than the one to the right. Pretty interesting, wasn't it? Before I tell you the answer to our riddle, do you like my new shirt? Thank you, Ellie. I love it. You know me, I love NASA. So, the riddle is, there are 10 fish in a tank. 2 drown, 4 swim away, and 3 die. How many are left? 10, because I start out saying there are 10 fish in a tank. It doesn't matter if they swim away, they're still in the tank, and if they die, they're still in the tank. So the answer is 10. Silly. Okay, you ready for some math fun? I'll be right back. I miss you, I love you, and I will see you soon. Okay, boys and girls, I'm back. You'll notice I have a whiteboard with me. Yay! I know you all have whiteboards at home. So, how can I write out numbers? Well, remember, we usually use dots for ones. We use lines for tens. We use squares for hundreds. And cubes for thousands. Oh, am I going to do my cube right? Probably not, but close enough. Kind of. Okay. Now, we also use manipulatives, but we're at home, we don't have classroom manipulatives. So I searched my house and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna use food for my manipulatives. I use some sunflower seeds for my ones, some pretzel sticks for my tens. They went over into the hundreds. Some graham crackers for my hundreds. And since I really don't have any foods that are cube that I could find, maybe you do, I'm gonna use cans for my hundreds, especially since I'm gonna be using these tonight. So let's say, this is fun math because not only can you work it out, you can eat it. So I'm gonna erase the bottom part. I'm gonna do it with my hands like I tell you not to. Okay, and I'm gonna add 2 numbers. So I want to say, let's do 27 plus 16. I'm gonna do 20, and there's 6, okay, 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can also draw it out. That's 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 16. 1, 10, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now I'm going to put the 10s together first. Now, and erase that 10. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can I make another 10 here? I bet I can. I can take some of these sunflower seeds and make a 10. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to take those 10 and trade it in for 1 10. So now I have how many left? 3. Here's my 10. And I have how many? What's my answer? 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3. 43. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3. Now let's do one with subtraction. Let me go get something to erase this and I'll be right back. Okay, now for this one, it's 213 minus 69. I have 2 hundreds, 1 10, and 3 ones, 213. Now, can I take away? I don't have any hundreds to take away. So can I take away 6 10s? Nope. But what I can do is exchange. So I know 100 equals 10 10s, so I'm going to exchange it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have 11 sticks. So can I take 6 away? Let's take away 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what I'm going to do here is, oops, I took away 1 and I only have 100 left. Here I had 11 10s and now I took away 6 and I'm left with 5. But I'm not quite done, so I might not want to use that answer yet. Let's wait a minute. Because I still have 9 ones to take away. Can I do that? Nope. So I'm going to trade in a 10 for 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Added to my 3, that's 13. Now can I take away 9 ones? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. How many are left? 4. So my answer is I have 100. Now I have 4 10s, not 5, and 4 ones because that became 13 ones and that became 10. We could also draw it out. 200, 200s. Oops. I'm 200s. 1 10 and 3 ones, that's 13. And how can I take it away? There's no hundreds to take away, but I can't take away 6 10s, so I just take away this one and make it 10 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I can take away my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I want to take away the 9 ones. I don't have enough, so I have to take a 10 apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now do I have enough to take away 9? Of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there you have it. 144. Same answer. What kind of food can you use to add and subtract with? I'd like to see. If you need to get up to the thousands, use your cans. Maybe use juice boxes, something fun. I'll see you tomorrow, boys and girls. Bye-bye.